Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. My name is Dan. I'm joined with my co-host, Drew Martin, and we got my big brother, the coach, with us as per usual. How you guys doing?
Great. Got a new haircut, fresh season. Let's go.
Ooh, baby.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. It's already the end of November, and it's barely hit minuses here in Toronto. So I am 100% enjoying it. Bless the Lord.
With the wind chill, we were like minus 22 today.
Oh, baby.
But I will say, it took me moving to Toronto to buy some actual Jets gear, which is kind of weird, but hey,
here we go.
This is what it is.
You got that $50 Jets jersey.
Hey, man, a deal's a deal.
Hey.
That's the brown in me.
Let's go. So let's get into it, guys, with some of the Sports Reverends news.
Okay. We're flipping around a little bit. First segment of the podcast, we're talking about underperformers in the NFL this year so far. We've settled on 5. Overachievers, we settled on 4. Let's go at it.
All right.
Message from our sponsors, yo. Message from our sponsors.
All right, so the first message from our sponsors, we have to go with our guys from One Bone. I'm wearing this beautiful, what's it called, the quilt bomber. And
yeah, I don't think you've taken it off since you bought it.
I pretty much have had it on, and it's pretty funny how we started, because you and me and Coach, went to Five Guys, where a lot of One Bone wearers wear clothes. And somehow someone recognized, hey, you're wearing a One Bone shirt. And we got to share with them, hey, yeah, we got this 15% discount code for all people wanting to wear One Bone. And that code is SportsRevs15. And we had to share that with them and told them to check out the Sports Reverends podcast. So this One Bone
maybe he should wait. Maybe he should wait till the end of November because they got a better deal on.
Well, 21%, yeah. That's
that
true. Big sale going on.
Us.
So to the guy at Five Guys who's probably going to listen to this, hope you bought some stuff, bro.
And if you use the 21% code instead right now that's going on, we're not going to be upset. Because that's what I used. So that's it. Check it out, onebone.com. You can check out our website to get that discount code, but it's SportsRevs15. You can enter that at checkout. All right, here we go.
So I'll toss it to you guys because, I mean, my NFL knowledge is, we'll say, limited. Yet I'm somehow winning the fantasy pool. I don't know how this is working. But it must be beginner's luck. So, guys, we got the season going. Lots of expectation, lots of hype. Who has underperformed this year? Drew, why don't you get started?
Yeah, I was really high on Miami at the beginning of the year. And they just can't seem to do anything well. Like, they can't run the ball. I have Gaskin in 2 or 3 pools, and that sucks. Tua is hit or miss. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Jacoby looks better in there than Tua.
Yeah.
But yeah, their defense is supposed to be the highlight of their team.
Cream of the crop.
Yeah. They're terrible. You can run all over them. Yeah. So Miami's probably the first one that comes to mind. Where are you, Dan?
Well, I have to say, Seattle has been one of the biggest shocks to me. I know Russell Wilson had a couple weeks off there, but they just look archaic for sure. I don't know what their offense is doing, and even,
that's a big word.
Was it on your toilet paper today?
See, Seattle doesn't surprise me as much though. Like,
really?
We've known for years that their defense is not what it used to be. Like, it's Bobby Wagner, Jamal Adams, and that's it. Like, there's no one. Their defense is terrible.
The O-line has been terrible for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Chris Carson's been hurt the whole year.
True.
And they love to run the ball all day long. They play the game like Russell Wilson is not a top tier quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for it's either going to be a coaching switch,
Oh.
Russell Wilson gets traded, or both.
Wow, that is a hot take coming into that. I can see Pete Carroll being moved on. He's been there for a while, and the success, while they've been consistently good, they've only gotten over the hump a few times, right? They've always kind of underachieved in the playoffs and things like that. So maybe a fresh voice, maybe a new direction might be what needs. Because I think it's easier to get rid of Carroll than it is Russell.
I think there'll be a lot of buyers for Wilson though. A lot
Just
of
cap wise, maybe cap wise, it might be. I'm not sure what the hit would be, but
he was linked to the Jets in the offseason. But you know, a lot of teams. I think Cleveland would want to be in on him.
They've definitely underperformed as well.
That's definitely
number 3.
Yeah, this one's a bit tougher because they've dealt with a lot of injuries. Baker has a separated torn shoulder or something. His non-throwing arm. Yeah. But and their running backs have been hurt. But that's football, you know. It's an injury league, and I think
their
they've
defense
definitely
has been mostly healthy though. Like their defense has underperformed the most.
Yeah, and they've had good games. Like when their defense shows up and Nick Chubb is there, Nick Chubb is their team.
Yeah.
It's sort of like Indy with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, it is. That's my boy.
Is he on your fantasy team?
Yeah, he is. He dropped 50 last week.
Joel's rest of the team scored 50 points, and Jonathan Taylor dropped 52.
But I won the matchup, yo.
Yeah. So Cleveland goes as Nick Chubb goes, and
well, hey, Kareem Hunt is the real deal too. They're good.
Yeah, but he's been hurt all year.
Yeah.
Well, while we're still talking about Cleveland, do you think Baker Mayfield's the answer there? And what do you pay this guy?
Nothing.
Absolutely not. But
what are your options at this point?
But they're in that's the thing. They're in a tough spot. Like, because they're not going to do bad enough that they do well in the draft.
Right.
And this year's not a quarterback draft, anyways. So you have to look either trade or free agency, and quarterbacks never come up in free agency.
And the ones that do, you don't want.
No.
They have a 5th-year player option for him. So what you do is wait, because you can't do much.
I thought they already gave him the 5th-year player this year.
Next year.
I think it's $18 million coming up.
The name that I heard while listening to the Pat McAfee show is Cleveland linked to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
For a trade in the offseason.
That's interesting. I mean, you go one small town to another, but that could work.
You could, you could argue Cleveland and the Packers are built very similarly. If you flip Aaron on either, like, good running game, good O-line, good defense,
and he could bring that confidence to the team that they're just lacking, right? And all it takes is somebody like that, a real leader, to galvanize the locker room, and you can see, a real change.
Yeah.
So I mean, the Packers, let's be honest. Like, I know we have them in our overachievers, but like, they face a lot of trauma coming into this offseason, right? You got your star quarterback saying, "I don't want to be here," really. That could really throw a team off the rails for a team that's supposed to be, one of the top teams in the NFC, right? But they still produce.
Yeah. They put up a bit of a stinker against Minnesota. They lost this past week.
Last past week, yeah.
An overtime.
Home opener sucked.
Yeah, home opener. That was the worst game of the year.
Yeah, but
they scored 3 points.
Stinkers, right? Every team puts up a couple stinkers.
Yeah, you just rather have them at the beginning of the year than the end.
That's true. And you can recover for them.
Like Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns still. Like, he looked good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a developing
situation. They're missing their 2 corners. Like, one of them. What's the best corner in the league? His name?
Jair.
Yeah, Jair
Alexander.
He's like the best, and they had so many. I chalk it up to tough.
It was a trap game for sure.
Yeah.
It was a trap game for sure.
Well,
let's see. We also have
Minnesota as like a real deal team there, but I don't know.
Minnesota's Kirk Cousins sucks.
I will say this though: the man maximized his career earnings potential.
He did.
he got paid
year by year.
and
Yeah.
and you can't really blame him for that.
But
yeah,
once quarterbacks get paid, you stop winning championships.
that's a very fair assessment. A very fair assessment. What about our friends over in Washington, the Washington football team? They're sitting at 4-6 right now.
This is another tough one. It's another one where it's like, where'd the defense go? Like, I feel like that's all we talked about last year was Washington's defense.
Oh yeah, being the best.
And now with Chase Young going down, like,
where's the production going to come from?
Yeah, but Heineke's been a real
He's been their future.
Yeah. I don't know future, but
something. He's an interim kind of player there, and
sort of looks like a Nick Foles kind of thing.
Hey, he's got a ringer, so that's nothing wrong with that.
A stopgap until a good quarterback class or something.
True.
And then the Bills. Bills are supposed to be
your Bills, Drew. Your
Bills. Not my Bills, but I talk them up a lot because they
expected a lot.
Well, and they're still good, like 6-4.
Yeah.
But they should be rolling over this division. There's no one in this division that should beat the Bills. The problem is they just can't run the ball at all.
Yes.
Yeah. And defensively.
And so, defensively they've been okay.
Well, beginning of the year, Josh Allen was running the ball really well.
Like they lost 9-3.
Yeah.
So their defense is still good. Your defense holds the team to 9 points. You should win.
Yeah. Drew dropping a lot of truth bombs today. And speaking of the AFC East, we should just flip to the overachievers. First on the list here is the Patriots.
Wait. Time out. That was 2 games ago, Drew. Last week, that's who Jonathan Taylor ran the 5 touchdowns on.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor can run over anybody he wants.
I know. I'm just saying. The 5 touchdowns, come on.
Every team puts up a stinker every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as we I know we like to. It's tough coming in and taking over for someone like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But it looks like the Patriots have really found something.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, 15th overall. Did Belichick pull another one over on the whole league?
It looks like it. Honestly.
And he did it so unconventionally, too. He spent money in the offseason.
Yeah.
Built a team around him.
Yeah,
still has
Michael Judon. He's a beast.
Still has no skill position players in the receivers-wise, at least. Running game is good.
Yeah.
They got two tight ends.
Yeah.
This sounds very familiar for some reason. It's like a blueprint he may have used before that may have worked out a little bit.
But let's see how it works come playoff time.
Those off-season signings were so awkward. Like they signed Jonnu Smith and then the next day Hunter Henry. I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, Mac Jones just seems to not make mistakes, and I don't know. Looks like number 12 there. I don't know.
Percentage-wise, he's having the best rookie season of all time. It's insane.
Which is incredible.
With no receivers, Nelson Aguilar is his number 1 receiver.
If Tom Brady wasn't on a good team, he'd probably be like, "Where was the spending when I was here?"
Well, does this flip our conversation a bit of the Tom and Bill?
Ooh, that is a good point.
No,
I still think because Tom won a Super Bowl his first year out, that's a big trump card. Yeah. Right? I think when we look at the grand scheme of things, it's about winning. And then we talk a lot about championships kind of being a barometer of success.
Yeah, but championships.
I'll tell you this right now though. If the Patriots and Bucks meet in the Super Bowl, I know sports are fixed.
Yeah.
Because that's just.
That'd be insane.
That'd be the perfect story for the NFL right now.
What's more difficult though, Tom Brady's position or Bill Belichick's position? Coach and GM or quarterback?
Well, that's interesting. That's a good take.
I asked the question because I've always been on Bill's side of the equation. I give Tom Brady respect for winning, but I think what he's done, being the coach, and no one ever talks about the GM side of things. Like, he's not very good at drafting. Like, this is probably his best draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you can give him credit for Tom Brady, but he still picked him in the 7th round. Like, he missed him 6 times.
And like to trade your best corner to fill up your roster mid-season, like that is like unheard of. Your young star corner. And,
he's not young. He's 30.
Is he 30? Oh, I thought he was 28.
Yeah.
We also traded Chandler Jones, right? Or
yeah, he's famous for doing this. Like, guys in the prime of their career.
It's crazy.
So where do you land on this, Daniel? Where do you land on this? Before I give my 2 cents.
He's a Tom Brady homer.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. But I will take Tom over Bill right now. Just because it's still early in this year for the Patriots to see.
The Bucks have had some bad losses too.
Yeah, they have for sure. Patriots, I don't know how it's going to translate to the playoff time. So
I think running game is good.
I usually think that too, but this new NFL, you have to be able to put up points. We'll see how they do against quality teams putting up points because they're beating up on the crappy ones. Which is still
if you were to ask, which is still good. If you were to ask me if the coach or the star player in a high school game, who is more important, I would say a coach because he's got to get the team ready. In a professional setting, I've kind of flipped a little bit because you can put all the players on the field, and especially when it comes to football, you have to have that one guy to pull the strings and pull it all together. And I think Tom Brady has done that with every team he's been on. Like every year, he's been able to find what works for this one group of players and manipulate the play calls, manipulate the matchups to make it work for him. So I think where I fall on the spectrum, if I was, let's say I was 85-15 Tom last year, just because of the Super Bowl, I'm probably closer to, 70-30 now because of what the Patriots have been able to do. And if they finish first in their division, that number goes closer to 50-50. If they, finish first in the whole conference, that's a whole other story. Right? Then then there's more of a debate, but for me, winning trumps everything, and I think you're right. It's still a little early in the season, but we're more than halfway through.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think a name that gets left off a lot is Josh McDaniels because Bill doesn't really handle anything on the offensive side of things. It's Josh McDaniels getting the offense to do what he wants it to do, and I think he's just been so creative.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. And he's been an OC for a long time. He had that stint as a head coach, and maybe he just wasn't quite ready for that at that point.
Yeah.
But he's probably one of the guys who will be probably getting a shot at a head coaching spot fairly soon, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, does he get another chance? It was a disaster the first time. And then the second time he accepted and then reneged on it.
I mean, that's potential. But maybe if Belichick retires, you just slide him up.
Yeah, I think that's what he's waiting for.
Yeah.
A team that has impressed me the most is the Arizona Cardinals, though. With being without Kyler for the last, who was when he went down the MVP front runner, I think.
Yeah. Concur.
And now Colt McCoy out of nowhere and James Conner just without your two best offensive weapons, and JJ Watt went down. Like
that's right.
Like
Colt McCoy is
this
like
team,
the slower, smaller version of Kyler Murray, and he's just holding his own, but still similar player, but just like the less.
Yeah, and he's been around the block too. Like
he has. I really like Colt McCoy.
Yeah, great college player.
Absolutely.
Where did he play? Did he play Texas?
Texas.
Texas.
There you go.
Yeah. So I've been impressed. I I thought it was a splash in the pan when they started off. What did they start off 6-0, 7-0?
Yeah, they were just
Nasty, yeah, nasty.
steamrolling. And it wasn't like they were a very diverse team.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
And-
James Conner too. So
Yeah, and I like Edmonds too. Like when they have the 1-2 punch.
yeah,
But they had Hopkins, Kyler, and Edmonds, and Watt, and like just so many injuries, and they just seem to keep going.
yeah. Even Kyler is like making players like, I know AJ Green had that terrible drop and stuff, but like he's still been having a good season. When he had that drop in the end zone, there's like a meme that came out that tricked me that said he is retired now. So that's good. But, yeah, how about those?
And if you
Go ahead.
and if you look at the rest of their schedule, I think there's nothing stopping. Like I think
They got the Bears coming up, the Rams, Lions, Colts, Cowboys, and Seahawks again.
yeah, like they probably have what three guaranteed wins there.
I think so.
So at least 12-5.
That's probably going to lock up the whole conference at that point.
Maybe.
I mean, the Cowboys can make a run for it, yeah.
Same with the Bucks and same with the Packers. Those four,
Packers, it's gonna be hard for the Packers,
maybe.
and it's tough to know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers' toe. Like he's being so like he won't tell us what happened. Did you see the video of him? He held his foot up to the camera.
Didn't he say he had COVID?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because he was on the McAfee show and he wouldn't confirm or deny anything that they were saying. Like,
But
So-
I think I've grown to appreciate Aaron Rodgers a little more. That's for sure.
yeah. Well, on that note, I think we're going to transition from sports to Aaron Rodgers and some Kyrie Irving. But first, we got a commercial from Urban Hope.
I guess I will say the Urban Hope commercial because once again I messed up and it was supposed to be Drew talking about one bone, but I got excited and didn't read.
I got my one bone on too.
And he's got his one bone on too. So shout out to One Bone. We just love it that much. Urban Hope though. Urban Hope is the youth mentorship program that I run in downtown Toronto. The coach is actually a part of it now too. He's going to be coaching a basketball team that we're providing a basketball team for some of the students that can't afford the next level, playing at that next level. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to raise funds to create this Urban Hope basketball team, the Urban Hope Elite. And they're going to pay in volunteer hours. And I know the coach, the way he coaches, he not only coaches for on the court, but he coaches for off the court. And that'll be some good mentorship and discipleship put in there as well. So if you want to check out all about what Urban Hope's about, check out our website, www.thesportsreverends.com. Hit the sponsors tab. You can check out Urban Hope, and you can see all the goings-ons of what Urban Hope does. And it's a lot of good stuff. So thanks for all your support, and way to go, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So, this is I guess, interesting topic to talk about. And it's something that's kind of started since 2019. This whole cancel culture and idea that you can't have a differing opinion than somebody else, apparently. And, Drew, why don't you break down the Aaron Rodgers situation for us? Dan, why don't you break down the Kyrie Irving after that, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, well, I don't. Even people who don't like sports know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. Like, here's the deal with Aaron Rodgers. Like, sure, he misled the media about his vaccination status, but he was upfront with the team and his teammates. That's the thing that gets people are like, oh, he was like gonna kill people. No, like he was upfront with the people who needed to know. Mm-hmm. And he was upfront when he tested positive. Like I don't get what he did wrong, and people, it's so the thing that got me, because the same week the Henry Ruggs incident happened, and people just forgot about Henry Ruggs, like a guy who actually. Well, he was driving drunk and actually killed people in a car accident. Like, and then people are treating Aaron Rodgers like he did something worse. Because has anyone mentioned Henry Ruggs since then? I know the Raiders are terrible, and they've had a lot more than that. Just that happened. But yeah, I just think it's a narrative. Whatever the narrative is, they're trying to push. Aaron Rodgers was against that, and he's always sort of been counterculture that way, a little quirky, and he doesn't like the media. He stuck his foot in the camera today, so like
He said he had COVID.
and said he had COVID. But yeah, that's the Aaron Rodgers situation. He had it. He's fine now. He did his 10 days quarantine or whatever. The Kyrie Irving is completely different because, yeah, you can take it from there.
Yeah, I guess the Kyrie Irving. Well, the difference of I guess Kyrie Irving is that he is just straight up choosing not to play because they're asking for a vaccine mandate, and he's got his reasoning for not taking that vaccine. And for all of us, I think we agree that we're not pro mandate at all. It's your choice to whether to get the vaccine or not, and it's kind of crazy that with all of the evidence that supports Kyrie and even Aaron Rodgers for choosing the route they are going by not taking the vaccine, they're just getting murdered over social media, over mainstream sports media by this, and what it's hard to fight for the side of Kyrie Irving because flat Earth and a lot of the stuff he does, I
really wish it was anybody else.
It's a lot of dumb stuff Kyrie Irving says that I disagree with, but he's Joel, the coach, actually said when he was talking about some of the other things for Kyrie and others that have been standing on, he said, well, put your wallet out first, put your money where your mouth is. And so at least I respect him for this, where he is taking a stand. He's putting his money where his mouth is. He's literally losing millions of dollars unjustly, I will say too. I don't think the contract negotiations should work like that when he has guaranteed money. But he's taking his stand, and honestly, even if he gave up by the end of the year on his stand on the vaccine, I still respect what he did. And look at the Brooklyn Nets right now. They're in absolute turmoil. I think they need someone like Kyrie to galvanize them a little bit, which is kind of sad. But that's a whole different story. But what do you guys think? Yeah.
So like in response, like one thing that really bugs me about all the situation is the inability to have a proper discourse about it. Like, Terry Bradshaw was on TV calling Aaron Rodgers, you're a liar. Stephen A. Smith is calling these guys liars. And it's like, well, hold on. What did they actually lie about?
Coach, let me show a little graphic here.
Yeah.
You guys can't see it, but the graphic of Terry Bradshaw, Michael Strahan, and Howie Long. I'll read what they said. Is that okay?
Sure. Absolutely.
Terry Bradshaw said, that's what you did, Aaron. You lied to everyone. Unfortunately, we've got players who think only about themselves, and I'm extremely disappointed in the actions of Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, Terry Bradshaw. The next one, Michael Strahan, Mr. Gaptooth. There are times to quote Martin Luther King, and this was not one of them as well. And they're all very emotional when saying these things. And the next one is Howie Long. It ceases to be a personal decision when you take part in being a part of a football team in a building with coaches, players, trainers. Possibly putting your teammates in jeopardy is selfish. And then Aaron Rodgers, what's his face? Stephen A. Smith, like you said, talked about him being a liar. How can you trust anything he says?
Yeah. And that's the problem. You're allowed to have your opinion. If you are on the side of a vaccination or non-vaccination, if you're side for a mandate or a non-mandate, I think people have died for this ability to have an opinion. But when you start saying that somebody's a murderer or that they're a Nazi or that whatever they're doing just for having a different opinion than you, and you cannot prove why they're wrong, you're just listening to what the media is saying without doing your research. Aaron Rodgers had a team of highly educated people do research for him. right? I get it. We all don't maybe have the cash to be like spend money on a research team, but he did. He put his money where his mouth was. He said, let's do some research and I'll blindly accept something. Kyrie, you 100% nailed it. Kyrie, like, I can't stand the person that he was because he's crazy and just says a lot of crazy things and does a lot of crazy things.
That Duke University education.
Look, when you go for 1 year, you actually don't have to go to class. That's the new rule, okay? Now, anyways, besides the point, before I even go anywhere towards that. But he's taking a stand based on his principles. When did it become wrong to take a stand based on your principles? You are taking a stand saying you need to have the vaccine, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's your stand. What makes your stand more righteous than mine? And then, for me, the bigger question is, when does this stand explode into other areas of life? Right? When is it mandated that you have to, believe a certain thing in terms of your personal religion? Right? And that may be a bit of an extreme example of pulling the ideas through, but this is where we're heading, right? There's a lot of support for socialism and communism, right? Because it's like, hey, let's give free money to everybody. Let's make everybody happy. But when you look around the world, those countries that implement that kind of stuff all are suffering. So the real question becomes is, when does my personal freedom become not important for the whole? And I think when you mentioned about us all agreeing on a mandate, yeah, I think, mandates are dumb. And especially when there's so many different varying opinions. And I'll flip it to you like this, and I'll give you the biggest contradiction that's kind of sat with me, okay? When President Trump was in office, he proposed, hey, get the vaccine. The vaccine's good. They're safe, blah, blah, blah. All Biden and all the Democrats were like, no, it's a terrible idea. It's just a small flu. It's not a big deal. Flip the switch. When President Biden comes into office, we all have to have a mandate. We all have to have a vaccine. This is a safe thing. What changed? It's the same vaccine. It's the same, and I don't think this is a racist thing, but it's the same white guy talking about it, but it's all about perception, right? And
you said white guy.
I know. YouTube is going to cancel us so fast.
How awkward does Drew feel right now?
Just enjoying this. It's great.
Yeah. And the point is, what flipped? What made the vaccine safe all of a sudden? Right? What made the idea of having a mandate the right way to do things all of a sudden? And so, again, I don't have a problem with where you land on this. I do have a problem if you don't want to have a conversation.
Yes.
Because that's just not fair.
I like that. Go ahead, Drew.
It seems like you're just not even allowed to question anything right now. Like it's like, oh yeah, you just need to believe it because yeah. It would be like someone coming to church and being like, oh, why do you believe in Jesus? And me saying like, oh, why would you even question that? Like you just like,
yeah,
like
idiot.
No, you have to
talk about it.
Talk about it. You have to read scripture. And you have to do that sort of thing. Like you don't get any people converted to Christ by just saying you have to believe this.
No.
Maybe that's a dumb example. I don't know.
No, I don't. I think you're spot on. And what do you fall on this, Dan?
Well, I agree. I definitely agree.
Dan's gonna take an opposite take.
No.
Come on, we need a differing opinion here.
I won't give a differing opinion. I'll give a differing area. Which
we don't want to hear it.
No, cancel. Pause. Mute.
What's the term of where it like burns you on the inside or something that really bothers you?
Grinds your gears?
Grinds my gears. That's what I was looking for. What
Peter
I was
Griffin.
Thinking what I was thinking was something else that I'm probably not allowed to say. But grinds my gears, okay? Is the media, the way they paint everything to fit whatever story they want to tell. And I hate that. Like they literally don't care about truth anymore, and they don't care about integrity and what is fact. They just have to change things from truth and fact to fit whatever they're trying to say. And that's what grinds my gears.
And do you know why that is? the news isn't about the news anymore. It's about selling ads.
Yeah.
Right? Even I'm a conservative. I lean that way for sure. I know. I'm saying many terrible things on the pod today. But even myself, when I look at Fox News, it's like, okay, this is a clear bias here. I know there's a bias, and you gotta take it with a grain of salt. When I watch CNN, same thing. Where do you go to find actual facts, right? Even if you go on Google, Google is starting to, use its algorithm to push you a certain way. Same with social media.
Yeah.
Right? And there's been a big upswell in, I know we're going a little bit off topic here, but a big upswell in perception based on what Twitter and Facebook and Google and Instagram will censor and not censor. And it comes back to the discourse of, why are you so afraid to have a conversation? Right? If a doctor comes to me and says, hey, Joel, you know what? This, and this is high. You're too fat. You got to do this. But, keep eating McDonald's. Keep eating your Five Guys. Don't worry about your cholesterol. Don't worry about your diabetes. Everything's going to be okay. And I go talk to my brother-in-law, who's also a doctor, and he goes, what are you talking about? You're doing the exact opposite things. And here's why. Right? That's a conversation we have to have and be open to having different ideas. And again, I think we're all talking about the same thing is, what are the facts and why can we have a conversation? Right? I know Christians get labeled as, oh, you're right-wing, blah, 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 you don't want to do this, that, and the other, but that's also another sort of assumption that you're making. Right? I think if you look on it, the left has been very intolerant on having tolerant opinions. While the right-wing media is just like, hey, let's have a conversation. And Whitlock, I always, just think about Jason Whitlock and how he approaches things. Is like, he's always open to having a discourse about any sort of topic, right? And if you're afraid of having that discourse, what's your agenda, right? That's just what I'm looking at. And it's very frustrating. It grinds my gears, as you say, and we shouldn't be afraid to have an opinion.
When we've been in the lab talking about kind of stuff that we wanted to talk about, you made the point of like, Drew doesn't even feel comfortable mentioning anything about racial stuff. And just because he's a white male evangelical, it's tough being a white male.
I've got enough labels.
He's got enough labels, and like it goes exactly to what you said, Coach.
Yeah,
for sure. So, that's pretty much what we've been talking about. We wanted to talking about truth, integrity, going back to facts, and writing your headlines based on that instead of following the headlines that are in the mainstream media. Which, like I said in our Instagram post, is garbage. There's so much garbage out there, and even guys just they focus on all the other stuff, but let's just focus on what's truth, what's genuine. Let's go back to integrity, and that's what we got to be about. Does that sound good? That's what Sports Reverends is all about. Boom.
Absolutely.
That's it. You
well
guys.
said. Well said.
We're gonna be
write
back
your own
in
headlines. I like that.
We're gonna be back at it every week now, going forward, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start writing our own headlines. We're gonna base it on faith, truth, integrity. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Check out our website, our socials, and join us. Check out our website. You'll see some of those, some daily fantasy contests that the Sports Reverends are running. Drew's putting those together, so check those out and see if you can beat the Sports Revs. You're not gonna, but see if you can. We got Thanksgiving special going all day tomorrow. I love American Thanksgiving. Come on now. Peas, greens.
Football all day.
Yeah, baby. Taking a day off.
Sorry, guys. I'm coming in sick tomorrow.
All right.
Lions, probably not the best game ever, but
we
rest
got
of them are good.
Dallas Cowboys. Come on. All right. Peace out, world.
Peace.